stream. La 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 la. But we do it after we start streaming. So that's just like the first 5 minutes of every stream. It's just like
it's like when you go to the orchestra and they're all down in the orchestral pit just making all those horrible sounds at the beginning and it sounds like a cacophony. We'll just do that but with our voices at the beginning, and that'll be our grabber. That'll be what people see and they're like, I want to watch more of this.
Wow,
whatever that is. More.
I need that in my life.
More of it.
Good shit.
That's my thought.
Yep. All right, guys, welcome to Awesome Hardware, episode 137. This is side B. Hi. We just got done streaming side A on Paul's channel. If you're watching us on the YouTubes, you can go ahead and check out youtube.com/paulshardware, or you can follow the link in my video description below. If you're watching us on Twitch, just stay where you are. Twitch, you're lovely. Both of you guys are lovely. And it's going to be an awesome show. It's going to be an awesome continuation of the first half of the show, where we talk about some tech news. We're going to be doing some PIMPMYPC. I kind of set it up for you guys earlier. Yeah, we like to have fun and occasionally have a beer or 3 or 4. And if you are of legal drinking age, we'd love for you to drink with us. It's always fun. Cheers to all of you.
You don't have to, though.
You have to.
We don't want you to feel pressured.
No, you have to just drink it. Just be a man and drink it.
I mean, if
don't
you
bitch out.
If you want to hang out with the cool kids,
we're all about peer pressure here, forcing you to do things you feel uncomfortable about. That's not true at all.
That's today's theme.
Occasionally, we will say words like
"Hey, you're live,"
"Hey, you're live," or words like
"I got a notification."
I
didn't get a notification when my video went live.
I don't know. It's weird.
It's lame.
That's YouTube being racist.
Yep.
Somehow. We'll swear in the show, not like a gratuitous amount.
Occasional profanity.
Sometimes it gets gratuitous.
Only when warranted.
Yeah, of course. We pick our battles strategically, and the words we say. So if you have little ones around, make sure to throw them in the pool or something. And what else? You should check out our stores. We sell stuff on bitwit.tech/store, and you can buy mugs, glasses, decals, mouse pads.
Crystal RGB shirt still on sale for $14.
It sure is.
Mouse pads.
Yep, the new mugs are nice. A lot of awesome hardware merch. The RGB everything shirt. Beware of bottleneck shirt. BIOS flasher. Fidget spinners are still there. We have about 5 or 6 left. So we're trying to clear that out so we can make room for new products.
You can buy 2 at a time.
You could buy 2. You could buy the remaining 5. If you buy the remaining 5,
No, you can't do that because it only lets you select 1 or 2.
Damn
Although
it.
I guess you could do a quantity 2
and then edit twice.
So there we go.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna add all these.
Edit 2 or 3 times. So that's my store. Paul also sells stuff.
There's only 3 of that item available.
See, told you. There's only like.
What an intelligent web store we have.
Good old Squarespace. Paul's site is paulshardware.net.
Paulshardware.net.
He sells shirts and hoodies and mouse pads and mugs and glasses and decals and bottle openers and a bunch of other good keycaps. So many good things. So many good things everywhere. We will shout Johnson at you at the end of the show if you happen to pick anything up from either of our stores. A double Johnson if you get something from both of our stores. And that's how that works. So I think with that said, we can jump right into more tech news. Starting with this article from overclock3d.net, which shows us
good news.
Some leaked images of some new Ryzen+Vega CPUs. Ryzen and Vega combined. These are the APUs. I'm going to call them APUs because that's
what AMD calls them.
What they are. I feel like when we were at the press event though, they refrained from using the term APU at all. And I was like, is this a marketing thing? Are they trying to stray away from that? Because it just seemed like a really easy acronym, really easy thing to say, and I didn't hear anyone say it once. They just
I don't know. Are they phasing out that branding thing?
That's what it seemed like to me. And I was like, I don't care. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna keep calling them APUs because it makes sense. But I didn't hear them say it once during the whole 8-hour, whatever, 5-hour press event. Anyway,
I don't mind APU. But it's not. It doesn't apply to Intel, right? Because it's an AMD thing. Even though it's not really brand centric, it's accelerated processing unit, which doesn't mean anything. It just it's the name that AMD made up.
They made
for a CPU with an integrated graphics.
Right. It's like hyperthreading versus SMT.
Yeah.
Sure.
But
yeah, I agree with that. But AMD should at least continue using their own acronym. So these are leaked images from the Chinese forum Baidu, which we have seen many leaked things come from there in the past. And it's about the two of these SKUs here. They're mentioned right there, the Ryzen 3 2200G and the Ryzen 5 2400G. These are, I believe, 65-watt parts, and they have integrated Vega graphics on them.
2200G says 45 to 65 watts, so that's
okay,
probably hasn't been confirmed.
Sure.
Or
that's impressive.
I don't know if there's overclocking states that might affect the TDP, but no, they'll probably have a static TDP, I feel like, when they launch.
I would think so. But these are exciting chips. It's the first APUs we've seen from AMD in a long time, the first ones ever to feature the Ryzen Zen architecture. This is, I should specify, this is Ryzen first generation stuff. We're still on 14 nanometer here. We are not doing the Ryzen second gen CPUs, so we're still kind of like tapping into the surplus of Ryzen first gen CPUs that they have, just combining that with integrated Vega graphics.
These are 14 nanometer?
Those are 14 nanometer.
Oh.
Precision Boost 2, however, you will get, which is going to be something that's featured on Ryzen 2nd generation. So there is a bit of Ryzen 2 features and qualities that you'll get from these APUs. The memory controllers have been refined, so this was actually a huge issue with first-gen Ryzen, is that the memory controllers weren't optimized to their fullest, so you couldn't actually have really high-speed memory in a lot of cases running with on a Ryzen platform, which did dampen the gaming performance, for example, with the Infinity Fabric integration. So that's all been refined to support higher DRAM frequencies, which is excellent. It's fully overclockable, not just the CPU portion, but the GPU side of the APU as well are fully unlocked. So you can get some pretty nice gains. They were showing us some pretty nice numbers.
If I recall correctly, the GPU runs at 1,250 megahertz by default, and they did some overclocking with us to demos at the CES Tech Day, where they were pushing it to 1400, 1450, which
that's pretty huge.
Got them a nice performance boost.
That's really nice on an APU. And of course, you know, the Vega graphics here are just going to absolutely crush Intel and their integrated graphics. It's going to be a great option, I think, for super budget gamers, or even gamers who want to have a higher end experience but don't have the money to fork out on a discrete GPU right now because the prices are so screwed. But hey, I mean, there's still a bunch of AM4 motherboards out right now that have display video outs and things like that, where you could pop one of these in there. These are going to be backwards compatible with existing AM4 motherboards, where you could do some light gaming on these. I mean, granted, it's not going to be the prettiest thing you've ever seen, or the most smooth playback that you've seen, but again, it'll blow Intel integrated graphics out of the water and give a lot of users, I'm sure, a temporary solution for PC gaming until GPU prices either come down or until you're able to find, you know, luck of the draw GPU that's reasonably priced.
Anyone who's trying to save up just enough money to build a gaming PC right now, but like obviously has no choice when it comes to a graphics card, just because they're all so overpriced. Yeah, this is a great entry choice that will let you play games at, you know, 1080, and maybe you can't crank up the settings to max or anything, but you can play them on medium and low, and you can still play. That's not ideal, but you can still build a gaming PC and then hopefully hang out for a couple months, and then graphics card prices come down. Hopefully they will at some point, and then you can drop a GPU in it and you're still good to go.
Yeah,
so there you go.
And the nice thing about these chips is that, you know, even if you already had let's say you already had a discrete GPU, they're pricing these pretty similar to first-gen Ryzen, but you're getting that bonus integrated graphics feature with Vega, so that, which is good for like troubleshooting and stuff. It's nice to have an integrated GPU sometimes, even if you do have a discrete graphics solution. And they're also promising higher clock speeds out of the box. So similar price as Ryzen 1, but you're getting a lot more for your money at the same time. So that's exciting as well. You know, these pictures are obviously taken from just some random person on the internet, so take that with a grain of salt, but it looks fairly legit from whatever we can tell. The same Wraiths, the Wraith Stealth that comes included with both of these chips is also being featured here in these leaked pictures, and it looks pretty much to have the same design as the existing Wraith Stealth. Not much has changed here. Not really any reason for it to. Doesn't need to get bulked up because these TDPs are about the same or even lower, potentially, than the last generation of Ryzen. So, good stuff all around. Looks like, you know, if China's already getting these, we're pretty much on... We should be on track to see these on their release date, February 12th.
Cool.
Sweet. Moving on. I'm just going to go through this article quickly because... You know, it's kind of thick in some areas, but basically the feds have shut down a $600 million cryptocurrency scam, what they believe to be is a scam. This is from Ars Technica. The SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, they just shut down an initial coin offering for a cryptocurrency project called Arise Bank. Arise Bank claims to have raised $600 million for the project, although this was never confirmed. By the SEC. This Arise Bank project was also endorsed, strangely enough, by boxer Evander Holyfield earlier this month, which...
He's my go-to when it comes to cryptocurrency
Absolutely. Advice. I trust anything he says on that topic in particular. Sure, he's an expert. SEC says the ICO, or initial coin offering, wasn't registered with the agency, and the founders of the project have made at least 2 fraudulent claims as it sold its new cryptocurrency. So these guys are a little sketchy to begin with, the people who are operating this whole thing. The SEC, basically what this means is the SEC is cracking down on the sort of crypto projects that have red flags of being a potential cyber scam to thousands of people. One of the founders, for example, Jared Rice, was charged in 2015 with a felony theft and tampering with government records, on top of other accusations of fraud. Tampering with government records, that seems like you're definitely up to something. Tampering with government records, that's unique.
What if you just found some errors and you wanted to correct them?
Sure. Maybe he has OCD.
That could be.
It's just very high attention to detail, this guy.
Can't jump to conclusions.
Maybe there's just a random typo on something. The project revolved around its digital currency called Arise Coin. They also had an identification platform called Arise ID and an operating system called Arise OS. There were no signs really that the project had a substantial following. There was only about 45 subscribers on their subreddit, their Arise Bank subreddit. Some other red flags include the fact that they claim to be working with a financial tech company called Mirada to enable payments that would allow users to use the Visa network to make payments. But Mirada, upon learning about this claim by Arise Bank, completely denied it and said, we have no idea. We're not working with them at all. And some other just shady things that I'm not going to get too much into detail here. But this was a Texas-based company, Texas-based project, and Texas regulators have already ordered Arise Bank to cease claiming itself as a bank and to avoid doing business in Texas. So basically saying, just shut your operations down. You are most definitely a cryptocurrency scam, and we don't want you doing business anymore in our
Texas
state.
Is usually so business friendly.
Yeah, and they certainly are, and so it's definitely saying a lot there. So just guys, be careful. You know, this is uncharted territory. A lot of this crypto mining stuff. If you are going to be investing time or money specifically into the whole mining world, just be careful. Make sure you do a lot of research. Don't take everything just for truth, and yeah, stay safe out there. The internet can be a scary place, especially when lots of money is and potential for making money is involved. But moving on here. This is an article kind of circling back to Newegg, actually.
It's funny because I was actually going to talk about this. I put a note on my side to mention this.
Did you just forget, or?
I just forgot, but because I got the emails about this from Newegg Affiliate, because I joined the Newegg Affiliate program back around Black Friday. I still haven't linked to anything there, but I just joined. I was like, well, I might as well have the setup. So I got the emails about this, but all right, so
basically, this is an article from Hot Hardware, and essentially, in a nutshell, we'll go over this quickly. Newegg is cutting off their GPU category for their affiliate program. So if you were a Newegg affiliate and you were, let's say, some sort of reviewer or an influencer online who was promoting products and getting a kickback for any time you would refer a Newegg product to your viewers and they would buy it, GPUs are now excluded from that program entirely when it comes to Newegg. And they issued a statement saying, basically, Bitcoin mining has gone mainstream. That's literally a quote that they said. And the limited nature of these cards has caused a shortage in which supply can never meet demand, and thus many users are actively buying these cards as soon as they get in stock. So this means effective in 7 days from now, all VGA cards will be marked non-commissionable for the foreseeable future on all business units. So if you were hugely a user of the the Newegg affiliate program, you can now no longer make any affiliate money or commission off of graphics cards. Anything in the VGA category is off limits because they simply just can't meet demand, and you know they're probably
because
losing money.
You say because there, but like this is my kind of irritation with them, right? So I got the Commission Junction advertiser update here, which has all of their existing terms. Their existing terms for new customers, returning customers, everything like that. And basically, commission with Newegg is usually about 1 to 2%. It's not that fantastic. Amazon is much better when it comes to commission that's provided. But they have exclusions listed, which includes, actually doesn't include Apple products, video game consoles, and they have an item list called loss leaders. So basically, if it's a loss leader, if they're already losing money on the product, which means they're selling it really cheap just to get people to come to the website and buy stuff, you're not going to make a commission on that. So all these lists, all these lists, all these lists, and then their updated terms, which is basically everything exactly the same, but 0 USD commission on item list VGA, 0 USD on item list video cards, because Newegg likes to have 2 separate lists for VGA and video cards, because item maintain is a piece of crap. But never mind about any of that. Point is, the initial email they sent out about this, which I was trying to pull up here because I had it, but they sent an email about this, which lists, like Kyle was saying, like, oh, you know, they're just selling so well and everything, so blah, blah. And it's like BS. Like, absolute BS. I know they have to say something in the email to be like, here's why we're doing this or whatever, but just bullshit, right?
Yeah.
These cards are flying off the shelves. We have no need to pay you any commission for them for referencing sales to our website.
Right.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
There's nothing in there about like, oh, they're selling so quickly, so just we can't. It's too quick. We can't calculate the commission for you guys because they're selling so fast or whatever. Right. No. Like, no. Oh, these cards are suddenly selling for twice as much as the MSRP, so it's just really hard to cut you guys in on the margin. No.
Yeah.
They're making double the margin, if not more than that.
Right.
They're just being like, look, we don't need your help selling these, so we're not going to pay you for them. That's what it boils down to.
Yep.
So,
in a nutshell, these GPUs are selling themselves. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
we're not going to lose any money off of you.
Yeah.
Trying to push them.
This sucks for affiliates.
It does. I mean, like, yeah, and like you said, like the payout for Newegg is so small anyway. To begin with, 1-2%. It's like
never been that great.
A lot of people are. I'm sure there are a lot of creators out there, publishers, whatever, journalists that are relying on their affiliate sales to some degree. Yeah, it's just kind of shitty. Just another way that the situation's just screwing people over. It's freaking crazy, man. But hopefully none of you guys are affected too badly by that. But we can move on here because we have some additional stuff to cover. This is the last article from Tech News, the Tech News segment, about Dell considering a sale, really, to VMware in what may be the tech industry's biggest deal ever.
Biggest deal ever.
So basically, Dell right now owns...
Reverse merger.
Yeah, it's a reverse merger because right now Dell owns about 80%.
It's like reverse herpes.
Kind of, but it stays with you even more than
even
forever.
Longer. Chases you into the afterlife.
It's like ghost herpes, bro. Undead herpes. So right now Dell owns 80% of VMware, but now VMware might actually buy Dell. The reason why that might happen is by doing that, it would allow Dell to be traded publicly. Because right now they're a private company. And so if VMware bought Dell, they'd be traded publicly without having to go through a formal listing. It would also be, obviously, like I said, the biggest deal ever in the history of tech, giving the investors who backed Dell's move to go private back in 2013 a way to sort of monetize their deal while helping Dell to pay off some of its $50 billion debt. I should mention this article is from CNBC. Thank you guys very much. So yeah, $50 billion in debt. I'm sure that has a lot to factor in. Like, how are we gonna pay this shit out? Why don't we go? Why don't we do this reverse merger here? Now that is to say that you know, Dell still could go with a more traditional IPO, but the reverse merger would let the company dodge yet another public offering. The Dell's board will meet next month to explore all the various options, and it's still unclear what the exact valuation of Dell as a company is because they are private. So there's no real way of knowing, but it did take itself private in a $24 billion deal in 2013 before acquiring EMC for $67 billion or so, which was at the time the largest tech acquisition ever. For now, it will be. It still is for now. If this reverse merger happens, I would imagine it's going to be a lot more than 67 billion, which is a lot of billions, many billions of dollars. So who's to say what that would do for Dell as a company, as a hardware manufacturer? You know, are they still going to make the same quality of products? Will that change? Is Alienware still going to suck? We don't know. So you know, this is all to say that big money in the tech industry might be floating around, and that could potentially change some things. So
when you look at all the like system integrator companies and whatever, especially the ones that were around in like the late 90s and 2000s, like Dell's still around. Yeah, there's lots of other examples of companies that have
faded out.
You know, totally bit the dust as times have progressed. But
right.
Yeah, like my wife's Dell monitor that I got her. She really likes that.
Yeah.
43-inch.
And they still make a killing off of their pre-builts and stuff. Yeah. But that's all for strict tech news for now. We can move on to our next segment, which is Pimp My PC.
So look, I have the lower thirds for it.
Woo! You are prepared AF, bruh.
To some degree.
Hell yeah. This is where you guys send in pictures of your rigs, and Paul and I mock you for it, while also trying to give you some constructive criticism. Starting with Dan. His name isn't Da apostrophe.
That's difficult to pronounce.
He's foreign. He's a foreigner.
Dan White.
Dan White. A very, very white name. He's got a Ryzen 5 1600 with an RX 580 8GB model. That's expensive now. 16 gigabytes of DDR4, Samsung 850 500 gig SSD, 2 terabyte, blah, 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 and an NZXT S340. All right, so let's help Dan out here. The first thing I'm going to say is ketchup and mustard, because my eyes are immediately drawn to that 24-pin ATX cable.
Right there, yep.
Which is cancerous to the nth degree. Dan, get yourself some sleeved extensions. Maybe black would do good, because it looks like you've got a lot of black going on here. You can even do black and blue.
You've got a single PCI Express power connector here. I believe that's a 6-pin. What's the RX 580 default have? 6 or 8?
4 or 8.
4. What?
I meant I was thinking about rows. I was thinking about pins per row.
Okay.
4 and 4.
4 and
8.
4. Anyway, that would solve your problem here. The fact that you've got a daisy chain PCI Express power cable with the extra nubs hanging off there, which doesn't look that great. So that would solve that problem too. Other than that, your cable management's pretty tight. It's a good job there. If you're going all out, you can matchy the fans a little bit more. You've got a couple LED fans in the front. I'm not a big fan of LED fans. Yeah. But make them all LEDs or make none of them LEDs, I guess. Yeah. Would be my choice there.
Uniformity is your friend.
Finally, you got a Cooler Master, what I believe is a Hyper 212, which is a very solid and perfectly adequate CPU cooler. But in this type of build, it's the thing that's standing out a little bit. Just slightly less than the ketchup and mustard cables, as not the prettiest. So, you know, there's other options in the $30 to $50 range when it comes to air coolers. It might look a little bit nicer if you decided to upgrade that.
Definitely.
But Again, only for aesthetics.
Right.
Functionally, your Hyper 212 is totally fine.
Oh yeah, we're very much emphasizing the pimp aspect of all this. Santiago.
Thanks, Dan.
Santiago. With a Core i5 7400 and a GTX 1070 with a Asus Strix. Let's see, you've got Gigabyte Z170 XP SLI motherboard, a Masterbox 5T, planning on moving to an i7 7700K and an AIO, maybe a Kraken X64. Potentially throwing a 280mm rad in there. Okay, what do we got here? Oh, interesting. A lot of stuff going on, it seems.
That's a GPU support, I believe.
So why is that?
Yeah,
Did he custom made?
pretty positive that is
Custom made.
I can't mouse over it because it pops up the damn thing.
Oh yeah, I see it because it's screwed into the
it's
PCI
screwed
slots.
into the PCIe slots, and it's half decorative, half. Well, I guess mainly
That
mainly
doesn't look
decorative.
like something Asus would have made.
Probably not. I'm guessing it's either
custom that?
3D printed or
Yeah.
maybe there's some small shop that does it or something
Yeah,
like
it
that.
looks like that.
I think it looks fine. It's a little rough. The finish looks a little rough on it, but
Yeah.
but it's preventing GPU sag, and I will always approve of that.
Sure.
Beyond that, you're definitely 100% accurate when it comes to next potential upgrade. Swapping out your stock CPU cooler for something nicer would be nice.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, though, that you don't have an overclockable CPU, so dropping, say, $150 or so, like a Kraken, would cost you, I feel like would be a little overkill.
Well, yeah, but he was considering it for the 7700K.
Oh, okay, all right. If you upgrade your CPU as well, then yeah, go for it. Something like that. Beyond that, if you want to keep your CPU, if you're fine with the performance, then something like a reasonable $35 to $50-ish air cooler might make things a little bit cooler, a little bit quieter, look a lot nicer.
Yeah.
So something like an Enermax ATS T40S or Cryorig H7 or what else?
Be Quiet.
Be Quiet. What's Be Quiet?
A more slightly budgeted would be like the Slim Rock or Shadow Rock. Shadow Rock Slim, something like that.
Yeah, so one of those. I go with one of those. But definitely if you drop a 7700K in there, then the Kraken X62 would be a very nice pairing to go along with that.
Yeah.
He sent
get some
his whole
matchy
setup too.
Get some more matchy fans in there, especially
I like
at
the
the
setup.
front.
I'd love to see you get the computer up off the ground, or at least, even if it's not on the ground, a little bit higher up than that. You've got some, I don't know how much space you have. Just getting it a good, 12, 18 inches up off the floor, I always recommend if possible. But it doesn't look like you have a whole lot of space to work with there. So, but yeah, nice clean build overall. You got the accessories and the case and everything that looks really nice. Just that CPU cooler upgrade.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, Santiago. Next up, we have Mr. Mark. No, Simple Silicon. Simple Silicon. Let's see. Mine and stream. So he's clearly mining and streaming with this system. Again, we're sort of suffering with that, Intel stock cooler.
Computer off floor.
Doesn't look like there are any specs attached here, so we kind of just have to sort of guess. On the CPU, it looks like it's probably a Z270 based chip or something like that. MSI motherboard, GTX 1080 Ti. I don't know what AIB that is. Maybe Palette or something like that.
Is there memory installed?
Dude, there's tons of cables.
Is this like a single stick of memory? Am I seeing a single stick of memory there?
It looks like there might be like, oh, maybe you're right.
I feel like there's either no memory or a single stick.
I think you're right. I think it's just one stick. Yeah.
Right.
So, maybe upgrade to some dual channel RAM that would help you with the streaming and other things in general. Cable management's insane.
It's really bad. It's really bad.
It looks like you... I don't know.
Like, this is a modular power supply, so I can't imagine what all these cables are doing up in here.
He has a fairly high-end power supply for a fairly budget case.
Yeah, an HX580, it's a nice power supply, but like, look, what, you got 2 drives here and an optical drive. Why are all these cables
I don't know.
here?
It's like he thought he had to plug them all in.
Maybe.
Like, oh, fully modular. I guess I gotta like fill them all up. No, it's the opposite of what you want to do with a fully modular power supply.
So this wants a complete recabling job, and I don't know if you have any behind the motherboard options here, but please take advantage of them if you do. If not, like, you've got some space down here at the bottom. Just take all your excess and just tie them all up down here at the bottom. And then beyond that, like, redo some of these cables. You got lots of just kind of loose floppy cables everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not looking very...
Also, redo your floor. And your carpet.
Floor and the carpet.
It just looks like a bomb went off. Like, what happened?
There's some stuff over here in the corner.
Did you get swatted? And did they, like, break things? It looks like, is that blood on the floor? It, like, cleaned the place. Like, that's also why the case and the system overall probably looks a little bit shoddy.
This might be blood. That might be a blood stain.
That's probably a blood stain.
Okay.
Or worse. Yeah, man. Get some help in that department. I think that this looks like, you know, a life decision that needs to be made, not just for your system, but for your own well-being. But Simple Silicon, we wish you the best.
I hope our recommendations have helped you.
Yes.
Thank you for the picture. Mark Stevens, with a Thermaltake Core P3-based system, Ryzen 1700X, EVGA 16 gigs, EVGA memory? Is that a thing?
EVGA.
All right, whatever. I mean, sure. Aorus K5 motherboard, a Micron M600 M.2 SSD, Thermaltake Tough Power RGB 600 video watt power supply, a GTX 1070, H100 IV2 Cooler Master with RGB fans, K65 RGB, M65 RGB, so many RGB things. Void Yellow Jacket. All right, so...
Void, wait, hey. What's Void Yellow Jacket? Oh, Void C Yellow Jacket RGB.
Void, is that the Corsair Void?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Probably. Okay, so he's got figurines and stuff in here. So, it looks like you're down. It looks like you're down with the sort of mismatched colors. I wouldn't say mismatched, but it looks like you've got a two-tone thing going on here. You've got that sort of hot pink. In one picture, you have green LEDs on the motherboard and the power supply, but red LEDs on your radiator fan.
So these are probably cycling. They're cycling through an RGB scheme or something. And
potentially,
yeah.
Because
times.
in the next picture, sorry, the colors are completely swapped, where you have pink LEDs on the motherboard and power supply and green on the radiator fans. So maybe you're just switching between those two. That seems to be your color scheme.
And this one,
you get some blue as
blue.
well.
So
right.
I'm guessing it's just RGB and it's cycling.
Sure, which is fine. Totally fine. It seems like the rest... That's fine because the rest of your components seem to be color neutral anyway.
Yeah.
Right. But what pisses me off about this Thermaltake RGB power supply is not the fact that it has RGB lighting, but the fact that the PCIe connectors are red.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Why? If you're gonna make a...
Thermaltake has had red PCIe connectors on so many of their power supplies for way too long, and it's stupid.
I know.
It's really stupid.
It's very triggering.
I don't know what to do about it.
I don't.
If you have a pin extractor, you can get a different PCIe connector and extract the pins and swap them.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd say it's worth it. Or just get some clean extensions, and then you solve two problems with one.
Yeah, there you go.
Two A-data birds with one stone, so to speak. I do like the A-data bird. I think it's cute.
Yeah, I like the bird.
Add some flair. The Doom guy. Little Doom guy there. It's slightly different than my Doom guy. My Doom guy is...
I like the controller assortment there.
More stoic.
Up front, you got the PlayStation and then Nintendo.
Yeah.
So
giving some love to the retro. But, yep. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Appreciate it, sir. Next up, we've got Oliver. Oliver.
Xeon build. All right.
Xeon.
X5650 overclocked to 4 gigahertz. GTX 1050 overclocked to 1962 megahertz. 16 gigs of generic with stars. Generic.
Love that brand. Love that brand.
Gigabyte X58 USB 3 motherboard. Hyper 212X and NZXT Sentry fan controller. 3D printed power supply shroud. A CX430 power supply. 2 terabyte Seagate hard drive and a 100 gig generic. He really likes the generic labels.
Do we know what case? Oh, it's a fractal.
Oh, this is interesting.
Is that a duct tape power supply basement?
No, it's 3D printed.
Oh, it's 3D printed.
It's a 3D printed power supply shroud.
Oh yeah, 3D printed. Oh, you even said it. Sorry.
What is that cable coming out of it for, though? What? That's like a power cable.
It's going to some card.
Going to an expansion card. Maybe that's
expansion card. Maybe.
It might be USB 3. I've seen USB 3 expansion cards that require an extra power connector, and that would be a reasonable upgrade for an X58 system because you don't have USB 3 on that. So that's my guess there. All right.
Interesting.
Yeah, definitely a fractal case. This is is this one of the arcs? This might be an arc.
You might be right. I haven't seen this case in a while. Kind of just like disorienting in a sense.
The thing about this system that struck me upon reading the specs was it's an X5650 Xeon, which is overclocked, decent amount of memory, not a super high power graphics card. CX430 power supply just seems like the lowest end.
Lowest common denominator.
Then again, like it's adequate. It's getting the job done. But add any higher end graphics card here, and I feel like the CX430 becomes limiting.
Yeah.
I don't know how much power draw that Xeon processor has that you'd be dealing with there. But aesthetically, the cable management is very clean, all things considered. You know, you've got some ketchup and mustard there, but there's not a lot of excess cable that's just hanging out unnecessarily. The cables that you can see seem to be in the locations that they're in because that's the only option that you had,
right? Especially
when it comes with your expansion card that's down at the bottom. Power supply shroud that's 3D printed. I'm really...
Why not black?
Yeah, why isn't it black?
And it's also the lines. You can see the sort of like...
You can see the lines.
Maybe like sand that down.
I don't see why there's like airflow consideration there, but it's on the top. But
yeah,
the power supply fan is facing up, but it's not. I don't know. It's
confusing.
It confuses me. I don't know what to say about it.
Seems kind of pointless.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's doing a whole lot. I mean, I guess if you got a bunch of ugly cables coming out of the power supply right there, that's probably the main reason he did it.
I feel like
just to cover those up.
If you could bundle those cables up and zip tie them like neatly, it would be less distracting than the power supply shroud.
But you've also just got a situation where you have an older Xeon X58 build, and the motherboard is all blue and light blue, and so you're never going to get all that to match up very nicely. I mean, I give props to this build because it's probably a very functional system with some parts that aren't necessarily parts that you would expect. And I don't know, Oliver, if you've been sort of partying this system out for a while, or if you got some good deals on stuff or whatever, but yeah, I don't know what else to say about it.
Yeah, it's definitely unique.
Cool.
You'd have to upgrade the entire platform, I think, if you wanted to make some huge aesthetic leaps.
Thank you, though, Oliver.
Thanks, man. And then finally, we have Relgrim with an 8700K. Excuse me. H100i V2, an ASRock Extreme 4, 16 gigs of Ripjaws 5, GTX 970, and a Corsair C70 case.
All right.
Okay, what do we got here? Cable management, right off the bat, my eyes are drawn to your power supply cables and just sort of how loose those are. I feel like that could be tidied up a little bit, maybe zip tie that bunch together. Your HD audio cable looks like it's stretching a little bit. You know, things are a little bit loosey-goosey. And, you know, obviously some sleeved extensions would help you clean up the look of the build overall. For your ATX 24-pin, your GPU. Let's see what else we got here. It looks like you have lots of airflow, which is nice. Two of those fans that you've kind of mounted to the left of your drive cages. I'm sure that's going to add some more airflow to your GPU. The red RAM sticks, I'm not a huge fan of, just because there isn't much else in your system that's red other than like one of the LEDs on your motherboard, but that doesn't, I feel like that doesn't count too much. I'd take the power supply sticker off, and
there's a There's an interesting like fan controller thing down here.
In the drive cage, right?
The drive cage.
Right. I'm wondering if it's a
3.5-inch front panel, but he's just stuck it into one of the 3.5-inch drive.
I mean, that's fair. I don't have a problem with it.
I mean, if you needed that in order to get all your fans working, how many fans are in here? You got an rear exhaust. There might be a couple up here in the front for intake.
Yes, maybe 6, 7.
It's a Z370 board. I don't feel like it would be that short on fan connectors or anything. I don't know. Maybe that's one of those things like he had it in an old build, and so he wanted to keep using it or something.
Could be that. Some people just prefer hardware control for their fans, which I get.
Yeah, look, like there's a fan header here.
Because honestly,
there's a fan header here.
Well, yeah, because sometimes like fan software can just be garbage or just not work properly.
Okay.
And can be finicky. So I understand like it's sort of peace of mind if you turn that knob halfway, you know it's going to be 50% fan speed, and you can sort of easily measure that out. And it's like sometimes fan software works perfectly fine. Other times it can be finicky or give you bad readouts and stuff like that. I've had some negative issues with it, but you know, Paul could be right. Maybe you're recycling this from an older system. I still have a couple fan controllers from 2012 that.
What do you think of the red?
That's what I said.
Some minimal red accents.
That's what I said. I was like, I'm not a huge fan of the red sticks because all it really matches with is that one red LED on your motherboard, which doesn't really count in my opinion. That red LED should be taped up or something. It's not deliberate, and I think it would look cleaner overall if they were just black dims, to be honest. Black or silver, because you do have some nice silver on your I/O shield. Why does it say Intel on that motherboard?
Fair.
On his I/O shield.
Because it's an Intel motherboard.
Really?
It's got Intel Gigabit Ethernet.
It's an ASRock board. I didn't realize
there was
an ASRock Z370 board that had such like potent Intel branding on it. I haven't seen that very often.
It's because that's specifically advertising the Gigabit Ethernet controller. I imagine that's an Intel Gigabit Ethernet controller on here.
Is it 10?
I don't know. I'm not.
I feel like it'd have to be 10 to warrant that big of a.
Maybe
because I mean, tons of motherboards have Intel Gigabit NICs.
And ASRock is known to throw 10 Gigabit NICs onto their boards.
Yeah.
But I'd have to double check the stats.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a lot about this build that's good too. I wonder. I feel like the radiator placement for your AIO looks a little bit too far to the right. I feel like if you could move it towards the back of the case, like you wouldn't extend the tubing so much, and it would just like a little bit more balanced. That's probably That's probably a weird personal quirk of mine, though.
I disagree with, and I like it.
You like it?
The radiator is centered as far as the case goes. There's a gap in the front and there's a gap in the back. Also, the tubing length it's fine.
Interesting. Because you see the center of the case.
Straight, and there's a nice curve to it. If you change it too much, it might get droopy. You don't want droopy tubes.
I'd rather have some slack to my tubes than have them pulled taut. IMO.
It's like I don't even know you anymore. I call you Droopy.
Who are you?
Droopy Tubes Day.
I'll call you
Droopy.
I'll call
Droopy
you
Tubes Day, Kyle.
Straight
Droopy
tripping.
Tubes.
I don't know. Keep your bill the way it is. Don't listen to anything either of us are saying. But thank you nonetheless, Relgrim, for that submission. That's going to conclude PIMPMYPC. Thank you all for sending those pics. We'll be doing some more next week or in the future. Also, Brian from BPS Customs wanted to send me a picture of a rig that he's been working on. He likes to show them off on our show, which I was like totally down for, but I don't know where that tweet is. So Brian, hit me up next week, and we'll get you featured.
It's a thought that counts, Brian.
It's a thought that counts. So I say we just. I'm super hungry, so let's skip Face Off once again.
I like that idea.
That is the most skippable segment ever, and we can dive right in to Q&A and Johnson, starting with some donations here. Oh yes, Brett Lomez for the $5. How long were you and Wifey Sauce actually stuck on the ride? Brett is referencing our Disneyland vlog that we uploaded today, which you guys should definitely check out. I spent a good 8 hours editing that.
Really?
And it's a 10-hour video. Yes, I spent a long time editing that.
Why,
I mean, you don't really realize it when you watch it. Lots of footage and trying to just make it non-stop entertaining by cutting like every single piece of dead space. Takes a lot of time. And I threw in some like, you know, random things here and there that are funny. But guys, check that out. He's talking about us being stuck on one of the rides that shut down, that broke down while we were on it. It was the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. We were stuck on that ride for about...
Did the pirates eat the people?
No, they did not. There were no pirates on that one. That was for Pirates of the Caribbean. But we were stuck on the ride for about 20 minutes before someone came and got us.
Must have been hell.
It wasn't too bad. We were all kind of like talking to the other people on the ride and just shooting the shit and having a laugh.
Was there cannibalism? Did you have to resort to...
There was no cannibalism, as I suspected initially. They did look hungry when they showed up, but fortunately it was not for the human flesh.
Well, you got lucky.
We did. You know, we've all heard those cannibalism stories at Disneyland. But thank you for your concern, Brett, and your donation. Robert Rule for the $5. No comment.
Thanks, Robert.
No comment back to you, sir, other than thank you.
You rule.
Joseph Tischer, $5. Would you be in Mr. Rogers' network neighborhood? Why for our Strix graphics card shroud so oversized with no purpose? Happy Tuesday.
Yes, I would. Mr. Rogers' network neighborhood would
No,
be very trustworthy.
Nope.
And
Strix cards are
card
big
shrouds,
because they like to look bigger.
Surface area.
Size matters to a lot of these manufacturers.
From what I understand, it's about surface area.
Surface area and yeah, from the fins and stuff. Bigger's better sometimes. Bazinga X.
Bazinga.
$25. Here's your 25 for breaking the ride at Disney. I take full credit for that stunt, and
no, you got paid for that.
Disneyland's gonna need a lot more than $25 to fix all the shit I did to them. Robert Rule.
Oh, he commented this time.
Robert Rule, $5. I already have an RX 570, but it's in my i5 760 Linfield. Should I bite the bullet on DDR4 and build something?
Linfield, man. Linfield was just before Sandy Bridge, and it's probably getting to be pretty old at this point. I haven't looked at any direct numbers on it. But definitely, if you can hold out for a bit longer, it's probably worth it to wait a couple months and see if memory prices start to die down a little bit.
Right.
Memory and GPU pricing are the two things that are keeping building your own PC in a realm of hurtfulness and hatred right now. But we're told, you know, DDR4 production might ramp back up, demand might taper off a bit, prices might normalize. Hopefully that actually happens.
Yeah, we can only hope. Jujubes, $13.37. Corsair LL series fans or Fantex Halos? By the way, will you guys ever attempt a 24-hour extra live stream?
Both.
Both.
Jujubes, you should definitely do both.
Do both fans? It just really depends.
No, they're different
looks.
Things. They're two different things.
Yeah, you could.
Corsair LL series fans are fans. Fantex Halos are brackets that go around the fans. So
right.
Fantex Halos are made to add on to fans that don't necessarily already have lighting on them. I don't know if Corsair makes LL series fans that don't have lighting.
They don't.
They don't?
But let's say, for example, you wanted the performance of something like Corsair's ML or Maglev series fans.
Yeah.
But you didn't like the fact that they didn't have RGB or any sort of aesthetic bling. You could put the Fantex Halos on those ML series fans and have the best of both worlds, essentially. The two don't really rival, but they complement each other.
Yeah. Or like Noctua NFF12s or NFF14s, like the industrial versions that are all black.
Yeah.
Would be, plus the Halos would be a great combination of really nice, well-performing fan and cool aesthetics. The third part of that, which is the sucky part, is how much it would cost to get the Halos and the fans all together. 24-hour extra live stream, I don't have currently planned. 12 hours I feel like is reasonable.
We're getting old now.
I know.
we don't do the 24-hour streams.
I would only do 24-hour stream if it was a group thing, if we had like 5 or 6 people.
You could
and
trade
like,
off.
Yeah, like
you didn't take the full brunt.
You didn't
of
always have to be on.
Yeah.
You know, all the time or whatever.
Which would be fun. We should consider that.
Yeah. Be possible.
MB67, $13.37. Kyle, Wifey Sauce is getting hungry, so here's a small donation to help feed her and yourself. Okay. Cheers. That is the one true way to my wife's heart, is through her belly. So you hit the nail on the head there. Thank you very much, MB. I'm sure we both appreciate it. Ethan L, $5. You guys have inspired me to create my own tech channel near the end of this year. Looking forward to being part of the family someday. You're already a part of the family.
Don't wait, Ethan. If you start it now.
Built your system. Good luck on that, though, Ethan. Hope it goes well. Pup Shepherd, $20. Hi, Wags. If you're kinky, I do a weekly show called Pup Talk. New guest every week. We are on episode 202.203. Wow. It is out this Friday.
It's more episodes than we have of Awesome Hardware.
Midnight EST. I even have high-profile guests such as Matt Baum, Pup Struggle, Hex C, and more. Good to know. Thank you very much, Pup.
Thank you, Pup.
I'll be sure to check that out when I'm feeling extra kinky.
Only if I'm feeling extra kinky. Though.
Only though. Only.
Which is how I'm usually feeling. So.
Yeah, of course. We should host them tonight.
Have to watch that.
Yep. Tyler Farnsworth, $5. Kyle, did you ever get your GTA art hung up? Paul, is the HTPC still coming? Wow, this guy's keeping us on our toes.
He is. Tyler.
Wow, nipping at the heels. Cheers, guys. Keep up the great work. P.S. Boobs are awesome. Can't argue with there.
Agreed.
GTA 5 artwork will be hung up as soon as I get the little command poster strips. They should be here tomorrow or Thursday, and they'll be going. The artwork will be going right up behind all the video cards and figurines and stuff there. It'll look really nice.
Yeah. HTPC is still coming. I've had a really hard time kind of getting back into the swing of things in this past month, but I've got some stuff planned for this week. So HTPC, yes, is still among my upcoming planned projects. Hopefully more on that very soon.
We should just do a bunch of videos with boobs, because boobs are awesome.
That's probably the best idea ever.
Probably more ROI on those. Omar. Tyndall, $10. GTX 1050 Ti or a used GTX 970 to get by for a few months?
Right now, I'd go for the used GTX 970 because even 1050 Ti is overpriced or like,
yeah, like $200.
I don't know how much used 970s go for, but that's still a solid card.
Yeah. Bazinga X, $5. Kyle, for April 1st, April Fools, you should break in and put all of Paul's computers on the floor. Well, I can't do that now that you already said it with him here.
I know. It's
ruined
spoiled.
Darn it.
You also have to set up a bunch of like cameras to record my reaction and everything. So.
I can just imagine you walking in, seeing the first computer. Oh my god! Oh, what am I gonna do? And you like turn to the next one. Oh my god! Another one!
Same reaction every time.
Oh my god! It's like 15 times in a row. We have too many computers.
Computer off floor!
Guido Salducci, once again, $13.37. Find the Twitter of that guy with the messed up room and the 1080 Ti with 1 stick of RAM and give him half of this money to buy a broom.
That should be enough for a broom, I think.
You would think.
Half of elite broom.
Unless, but you know, sometimes you give someone like that the broom, and then the broom just like goes on the floor and joins the rest of the crap. So
it becomes part of the problem.
You're just adding to the chaos. But good suggestion nonetheless. And thank you for the donation, Guido. Trevor Clausen, we have a $5 donation here. What do you think about Frozen CPU? Saw them tweet about for PIMPMYPC. I did not see them tweet about PIMPMYPC.
Did they?
But what did they tweet? What did they tweet? I'm not sure. Paul's going to look it up while we go on to the next one. Danny Stanbury, $5. I'm building a new PC for my fiance. Should I wait for Ryzen 2 or just get Ryzen 1.0? Wait for Ryzen 2. The price hike is not going to be substantial. You'll probably get a bit more for your money. And there will be a wide variety of options with Ryzen, just like we saw with the first generation with Ryzen 2, to really suit your needs and your budget.
Well, they did.
I would wait. Oh, they submitted a PC?
They submitted a PIMPMYPC 3 hours ago.
Oh, cool.
They submitted...
Frozen CPU, if you're watching this, I would have totally hosted you guys on the show had I caught it in time. I think this, like, for me, like, I had already got all the submissions I needed to before you tweeted. But, cool. Hit me up next time. We'll be doing this probably again next week.
There's another one.
Of course, they have all like these nice water-cooled systems.
I like frozen CPU.
So do I.
I've ordered some stuff there before.
Oh yeah, half of the Elite build was made with parts that I bought from them. But thank you very much, Daniel, Danny, and Trevor. Next up, we've got Cody0712, $5. How to place fans in AIO cooler on front of case. Assuming that your case has no limitations on where those fans can go, I would say mounting them inside of the case, like not directly underneath the actual front panel of the case, but inside of the frame itself would be the best. Whether you're doing push or pull, try to get them as far away from the front panel as possible to ensure that you're getting ample airflow and intake to that front area. As far as push versus pull, that's an age-old debate. I think the common consensus is that push is more effective, but there's also an equally strong argument for it doesn't really matter all that much. You might be shaving off a degree or two, but as long as you're well under TJ Maxx, neither of that should matter. It kind of just boils down to your personal preference and your, whatever limitations you're dealing with. So try it out. I mean, it's an ongoing thing. A build is never done. Try it in push first, and then after a week or two, after you've monitored the temps, try pull and see if it makes a difference. But thank you very much for the donation nonetheless. Storm Zoo 5. Give up. Would a cheap 3770K be worth it coming from a 2500K, or should I upgrade GPU? Got a Z77 board and a GTX 970. Thanks, boys. Love from Scotland. I would say
if you've already got the...
If you've already got the board, then you could do that. I mean, it'd still be fun.
So those are cross-compatible. Ivy Bridge and Sandy Bridge were cross-compatible. So,
I would say it depends. It depends. If you're streaming or something?
I would say right now, because you can compare these, like a 3770K and a 2500K, because you compare them right now to like Ryzen CPUs with 6 and 8 cores with hyper-threading, and the amount of performance you get comparatively is a lot more. Granted, you might not be able to get the same prices. We're talking about used parts, so it's not exactly, you can't exactly say what's what with that. But I would say stick with your 2500K. That's probably adequate for you for now, and it pairs well with a GTX 970. And then save up for a platform upgrade, either something current gen from Intel or AMD.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be my recommendation.
Yeah.
Hope
I agree with that. Kevin Guzman.
Kevin.
$5. How hot is too hot for hard drive and SSD? New mini ITX PC makes my drives hit 65 degrees while gaming. Once it hit 72. Going back to a mid-tower PC soon. Mini ITX was a mistake.
That seems fine to me for drives.
Yeah, nothing.
65, 70.
No red flags there.
That's on the warmer side. They could definitely be cooler, but I think drives need to get a lot warmer than that to actually start encountering issues.
Yeah. Oh God.
If you're talking about mechanical drives in particular.
Yeah. Juan O, $10. Thank you both for all your videos. I remember learning my Sandy 2500K and 580 GTX build, which I still use, and I owe all the learning to you both. Thank you. You're welcome.
We're getting a bunch.
You owe us now.
Everybody, stop donating. No, we love your donations. They're wonderful, but there's more rolling in.
Oh boy.
We're gonna cut this off after Ahiodes. Ahiodes is the last donation.
I don't even see that one. My God.
That's because it's in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Turbo
Sauce, 5 Canadiers. Beginner at building a PC and building one next week. What's a good graphics card and CPU to get on a $1,500 Canadian budget? Building my first one next month. $1,500. That's like what, $1,100 US or something like that. Maybe even less.
More than that, I think. But
oh, okay.
Honestly, it's really hard to say because good graphics card plus CPU mainly is going to be questioned what the graphics card costs.
Yeah.
How are you paying more than MSRP? How much more? What's available? You're in Canada, so that
Check out some pre-builts, to be honest.
Yeah, check out pre-built PCs. Compare that very keenly against the current GPU prices.
Yeah.
And maybe consider waiting if you really can't find a GPU that's a reasonable price.
Yeah. I have a video coming out pretty soon on NZXT's BLD service, which is their pre-built service.
Oh, okay.
Which is actually pretty interesting, and you can get GPUs for MSRP through that.
Nice.
That'll be coming very soon. So Kev Barty, right? $6.66 Canadiers. Love the show, guys. Keep up the good work. Wasn't there supposed to be a mail section this week since Kyle hadn't checked his PO box in months?
Oh yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up. My PO box, because I am a slacker and I haven't checked it in about 2 months, actually closed. They closed my PO box. All of the fan mail that was sent to there in the last 2 months got sent back.
Oh no.
So yeah. The good news is that I'm now aware of the issue. I've reopened the P.O. box. I got the same P.O. box, actually.
Oh, good.
They didn't give it to somebody else. It was still available.
That's good.
So
that
it's
you
still,
didn't have to change.
It's still $14.49. Everything's the same. So just everyone who got fan mail sent back to them, it's not because I just didn't like you. So just send it back to me, and I will open it on a future episode of the show. I do apologize, and I will be much more diligent in checking my P.O. box. I just didn't get the renewal slip. I thought, because, you know, everything else in my life is on automatic renewal, so I just don't have to deal with anything. All my subscriptions, licenses, and stuff. P.O. boxes, you know, it's the post office. They're still old school. So they, like, slip a little renewal notice into your P.O. box at the end of each year for you to renew the P.O. box and keep it. So I just missed it in the last CES with Christmas, New Year's. I mean, it's been a hell of a last 2 months, yeah. And I'm usually not that bad, but just happened to miss it this time around. So, guys, keep sending us stuff. We'll be checking it later.
My P.O. box is still in good standing.
Paul's not a fuck up like I am. Iodi. $25. Paul, I remember watching your videos on Newegg way back when I got started. Great to see you making it on your own. Kyle, the wife saw me watching your Disney video. Now we have to go this year. You're on my list for a day. JK.
It's expensive.
It is.
It's like over $100 a day for one park now.
Yeah, it was about $100 for me and wifey sauce each.
That's crazy. Just
to get in, you know, and then you gotta buy food and all that stuff. So, but I hope you have fun. It is fun if you can go. But thank you, and that's it. Those are all the donations. Okay. Thank you very much.
Some quick Johnson shout-outs. Looks like I have a few. I have 5 or 6 that have rolled in. Nice. First one for Joseph. Big old Johnson to Joseph from Pennsylvania. Got the pub glass, the thumbscrew decal, and the RGB everything shirt. Thank you very, very much, sir, for your order and your support.
I got one from Alberto Duerte for picking up a CPU cooler shirt. Thank you.
Sean from California got the heavy metal gray thumbscrew t-shirt. Thank you very much, Sean.
Double Johnson for Sean. Bitwit gray logo and black tri-blend t-shirt.
Chris, all the way from New Zealand.
Chris.
Thank you.
Chris.
Thank you for the support from the Kiwi Nation. Got the thumbscrew gaming desk mat, 90 centimeter, the long one. And
I'm out. I'm out. You just keep on going with all your high rolling fans.
Really wants me to cover this power supply. It's hard to be like, hey, this is power supply. And it's like,
a power supply.
I don't know how to make a good video on a power supply. Like a video that people will watch. That's more than just like, hey, here's a power supply. Here's the wattage. Here's the plugs. What? Anyway, Ethan.
Just cube.
Ethan from Arkansas. Thank you so much. Johnson to you. Got the thumbscrew decal. And finally, Kemrit. I believe that's Kemrit from California. Got the keycap as well as the stainless steel bottle opener. Thank you very much for your support, for your order. You should be getting that stuff shipped to you very soon.
Guys, thank you so much for picking up stuff from both of our stores. We do appreciate it. Yeah. It does help us out a lot. And that's pretty much the show. Before we sign off, we're going to do a Twitch raid. This is one of my favorite things to do on this show, is raid the shit out of someone who has way fewer viewers than we do, so that when you finally do raid them, they usually give this crazy reaction like, oh my god, I'm freaking out, oh my god! And it's very entertaining. So today, I don't. It's not a guarantee. Sometimes they're just like, sweet.
If they don't
really
react
boring.
like at least as intensely,
then
as
they
you
were
just
not
did,
worth our rate, and they should go to hell. No, that's not true at all. But today we're going to be rating Rec 1568. That's RECK 1568.
1568.
We're rating the shit out of him right meow. He is playing Overwatch, it appears. And I want you guys to go ham on this guy.
Yeah.
I want you to make him cry tears of joy and confusion. It will be glorious, and you guys are awesome. Thank you very much for joining us, as always. We love you.
Make sure to give him a boost of self-confidence.
Absolutely. And anyone who's watching me on YouTube after the fact or now, timestamps in the comments would be greatly appreciated. I'll pin your ass, and don't mean that sexually. So, guys, have a good one. Take care of yourselves.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching.